All right, so I didn't plan to make a video tonight. Actually, my better half is sleeping right now. It's her birthday today, by the way. So if you want to say happy birthday to my better half in the comment section down below, I would really appreciate that. But I've been on a few horror sites and horror Facebook pages in the last couple weeks or so. And there's like a question that keeps popping up, especially as it comes closer to Halloween. And that question is, I just saw the Halloween Complete Collection set at the store for blank price. Should I pick it up or should I look for that other out of print one that's out there? And they're not quite sure what the difference is in a lot of cases. And so that's what I thought I'd do tonight, actually. It's not like a themed video. Basically, I'm not like, it's me. And I wasn't going to do this one live. I was going to actually just film a video. But I figure I'm probably not going to get a lot of people on there right now anyway. But there's a 10 disc set that's out, and you'll see it around like a Walmart and Best Buy, and you'll see it like at different places like an FYE. And it's let me see if I can show you, actually. So, see, when Scream Factory put out the Halloween set, they put out like 2 editions. One was like more for, I guess, in some ways was considered more for the casual fan, and the other set was kind of a more deluxe set for like really hardcore Halloween fanatics. And I get asked a lot, will they be putting out another set when it comes to the Halloween stuff? No, I don't think they will. Not any big sets in the near future. And I'll tell you why I don't think that. I think basically because the rights were so scattered all over the place that all right. So this here is the cover to the other set, the complete collection. Okay, so that's the complete. That's the 10 disc set, a 10 Blu-ray set. And one of the questions that I see asked on a lot of forums and a lot of Facebook pages is, I just saw that set at the store. Is it the set for you? So hopefully this is not going to be the longest video, but it'll actually maybe give you an idea of the differences between the 2 sets. And I think the easiest way to break down the differences between the sets is to let you know what the other set, like what the 15 disc set has that's not included in the 10 disc one. And I apologize if there's been a, oh, hey, Obnoxious and Anonymous. There's a production on, oh, you mean the number 4, right? I think it was number 4. Had like the sound thing, like kind of dropped out. Correct me if I think it was number 4. Yeah, perfect, thanks. Yeah, so the thing was that this set here, I grabbed on opening the day it came out. I was waiting at the store for the store to open up, which was Future Shop at the time. They had 1 copy of this, and I was going to be the person to get it. I'm a huge Halloween fan, so it has, of course, the most physical, like obvious thing is that, one, you get this kind of this exclusive artwork on here. You get like the original Halloween pumpkin. Oh, that's fantastic as well. But you get the movies in like their own separate cases. Now with the 10 disc set, it comes in 2 streamlined blue Blu-ray cases. One which shows the Michael Myers with the John Carpenter Michael Myers mask, and one that actually shows the second disc, the second set of discs, shows the Rob Zombie Halloween mask on the front of the cover. So obviously the first 5 is on the, and they're all each on their own on discs, is in a slimline case on the first one, and the second 5 on their own discs is on the second one. So you're getting like kind of all the movies, but you're really not. But before I get right into that, I guess the other like kind of aesthetic thing there is you also get with the bigger set, you get this this here booklet, and it has some like cool artwork and write-ups and stuff on it, some really neat pictures, and it does go over, and I'm going to look at this, I'm going to use this as a cheat sheet for the bonus disc. Now, one of the things that's missing is a bonus disc that's actually placed in with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which is probably going to be one of the only times you're going to open up that case, is to watch the bonus disc. No, I kid. You're probably going to be watching all these movies several times if you're a horror fan and a Halloween fan. But when part 4 and 5 were done, they didn't have like the making ofs, like the big making ofs that you would see like with parts 1 and 2. You see, when parts 1 and 2 like were originally re-released or originally released and kind of like was the trumpeted the coming of Scream Factory, it was the very first 2 releases that they put out. They put out these really kind of like loaded discs for Halloween 2 and 3 with fantastic new artwork and like double disc sets and just a lot of really cool stuff. Now, when Anchor Bay, put out Halloween 4 and 5, there's a little bit of features on it, but it wasn't exactly a wealth of riches, to put it lightly. So one of the things that they were going to do when they put out this set was to rectify that and give the extra bonus features. Now, a lot of the stuff that's on here that's not on the other one are things like bonus features, but not all. So let's just see what's on the bonus disc here, and that's going to give you an idea of like one of the things that you're going to miss out on. So it's a huge. We're not talking about like a little features thing. We're talking about like a lot. So the bonus disc here, and it's really cool. You actually get the John Carpenter's Halloween, an extended version of the original film with the TV inserts. So basically, when Halloween was made, when it was put on TV, there was scenes that were shot specifically for the TV version of the film, and you didn't see that unless you either got the TV version back in the day on the VHS, or like me, you watched it on TV when it would come on TV. You'd have these extra scenes that were put in there. So this here on the bonus disc actually has that kind of like the full cut of the film with the TV like scenes inserted into it to make kind of this big extended like kind of ultimate edition of Halloween. So that's one of the big features that's listed on that bonus disc. We get the Halloween Unmasked 2000, which was on one of the many Anchor Bay editions that came out, and I think I've got it over there actually. Then the new making of Halloween 4, a comprehensive making of done much like for parts 2 and 3. A new making of Halloween 5 is on here as well. There's interview with makeup effects Tom Berman on Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which they didn't have for this one right here. So that's the new edition of that. And they did new episodes of Horror's Hallowed Grounds. And if you've never heard of Horror's Hallowed Grounds, you probably haven't gotten a lot of Scream Factory stuff, because Horror's Hallowed Grounds is kind of like one of the things that Scream Factory kind of became known for. It was one of their big features. Now what it was is they would go back to the film locations of like certain like iconic films, horror films, of course. And in this one here, we get to see the Horror's Hallowed Grounds for Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and Halloween 6. Plus, there was like a Halloween desk that came out called Halloween 25 Years of Terror. And there was a Horror's Hallowed Grounds originally on that one as well. There's now a longer extended cut of that episode that's on here with 4, 5, and 6. We also get a fan edition of Horror's Hallowed Grounds, shot with and for the fans aboard a bus tour during the 35 Years of Terror convention. There's Halloween 3 Season of the Witch radio spots, and there's photo galleries for John Carpenter's Halloween, Halloween 4, and Halloween 5. So that's a lot of stuff right there out of the gate. So you know right then what you're kind of missing just on that bonus disc alone. But it kind of doesn't stop there. You see, that's not the only bonus disc that you're going to miss, because the difference is that one is a 10 disc set and one is a 15 disc set. Now, what's included on here, there's a second disc for Halloween. So you would get this here, disc 1, but there's a second bonus disc here. And this one has how would you put this again? I guess like the TV cut of the film on the second disc, along with like an audio commentary with John Carpenter, Jamie Lee Curtis, and then the late Deborah Hill. The featurette, Halloween, A Cut Above the Rest. the theatrical trailer, and TV and radio spots. So that, you know, the TV edition of it is right here. Hey, Savannah, how's it going? Basically, because I see a lot of people asking questions about the 10 disc set of Halloween and how it differs from the 15 disc set. I kind of thought that it would be a nice thing to do with Halloween coming up. And I thought I'd do this in October originally, but with people getting ready to get their Halloween like watching and viewing together, I thought it'd be nice to have this ahead of time. So if somebody wanted to look at it and they were trying to make that decision, they could. And Halloween 2 also. Hey, Brian Goes Blue, how's it going? Thanks a lot. And we're talking Halloween because next month is Halloween, and the biggest question that I see asked on a lot of the forums is basically, hey, I just saw the Halloween 10 disc set. What's the difference between it and the 15 disc set? And that's probably been answered a lot of times, but it's the first time I'm going to try to answer it. So this one here again has a second disc as well, and this has the original television version on second disc, which is included in the 10 disc set. So alongside of that, there's just a bunch of different features that are on here as well that are included along with the bonus disc. Now the television edition of Halloween was actually put on for Halloween 2. It was put on DVD, not on Blu-ray, as you can see right there. And it's just an interesting little one to have. So far that's about like what? That's 3 extra discs. So there's 2 discs that we're kind of like missing out on right here. And this is going to be pretty much, you know, the same as the Halloween 3 one that you've seen. I don't know if there's an extra. No, there's no bonus disc for Halloween 3. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while since I've gone through these. I got to go through these actually really soon and start watching them before the movie comes out. But I'm pretty sure that the next one is, oh yes, the big one. Now you can get this one's kind of on sale. And for the longest time, the only thing you could get for Halloween 6 was a theatrical cut of the film. Getting a producer's cut of the film was pretty much meant that you were going to spend a bunch of money, usually to send away somewhere or at a convention, and you get a VHS that would be really crap quality. And that was pretty much it. So now that being said, there is a producer's cut out on its own that you can buy actually for fairly cheap, but there's pretty much no bonus features on the producer's cut. It's pretty much a bare bones disc, but at least you can get the producer's cut on Blu-ray if the 10 disc set is the way that you're swaying towards going. Now this one here, however, does have both the theatrical edition and the producer's cut on here, and the producer's cut kind of has a lot of features. They kind of went all out when it came to it. It had never gotten a release before, and it definitely never got a Blu-ray release before. So when they knew this was going to be a big deal, they knew that this was kind of a limited thing, and they wanted to make it something special. And they really, really did. They put in a bunch of bonus features for the producer's cut of the film. We get an audio commentary with screenwriter Daniel Ferrens and the composer Alan Howarth, Jamie's story, interview with original Jamie actress Danielle Harris, the Cursed Curse, an interview with the producer and Malek Akkad and Paul Freeman. I'll look at the film's cast with actress Maria O'Brien and J.C. Brandy. Shape of Things, look at Michael Myers' Murders and Mayhem with special effects artists John Bushler and Brad Harden and actor George P. Wilbur, who play, of course, Michael Myers. We got Haddonfield Horrors, The Sights of Halloween, The Curse of Mike Myers, with director of photography and production designers on there, and director of photography for the additional scenes. Hey, Ken. New Full Circle, an interview with Alan Howarth, basically talking about like the way that he composed this one, and a new cast and crew tribute to Donald Pleasance, and there were like some alternate and deleted scenes as well. Oh, you got it today? I didn't order it. I'm hoping that it shows up at my local Walmart for a decent price. They had Christine there in 4K, and I kind of hemmed and hawed about whether I should upgrade my Sony Christine or not, and I was going to. And when I went to do it, it was sold out. So if Halloween is there, I will be. My better half's birthday is actually right now. I waited till after 12 to say happy birthday to her, and then I let her go to sleep 'cause she was tired. But I'm hoping that she'll let me pick up the 4K. Okay, got a great Halloween question for me. Okay, go for it. If I can answer it, I will. While you're writing the question, I'm going to put this back and these back. I might bring this upstairs to watch later on, actually. I await Ken's Halloween question. Do you remember when you watched the TV broadcast Halloween back in the early 80s? Actually, yeah, I do. Before it came on, there was like, it's a while before it came on, they will show like a bunch of promos. I originally saw it on TV. The very first time that I saw the TV cut of the film was on TV. It actually, it freaked me out. You remember two things? What was that? I remember... I distinctly remember the promo, the music and the promo, and it scared me. And I remember the voice of the guy that announced, coming up next. It scared me. And Halloween to this day is one of those that still gets under my skin. Not a lot of horror movies really do. I may get affected at the time in the moment with a bump, with a boo or a jump scare type thing. Clearly see Myers' mask because he stares at the girls. Speed kills when he drives by. So what's number 2? Also, I'm kind of in suspense. I kind of want to know. And I had a huge crush on the girl that says that. Add to the Google Doc. Just remember where the bonus disc was. It's like a suspense thing. What are my thoughts on the Robs? Actually, I'm gonna, Dylan. I'm gonna kind of get to that. I've talked about the Rob Zombie Halloween things. When Laurie falls over a railing, when she sees Myers at the top of the stairs, you can clearly see Myers' mask as well. Never seen on the digital versions. Ooh. Yeah, definitely check out my earlier ones. I will be updating that because I am going to put it to you like in the best way. I'm going to give them another chance. I do want to kind of do that. I did do one where I marathoned both the Rob Zombie's Halloween and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And I was pretty scathing on it at the time. Now, part of that was you assume wasn't Cundy's intention. I don't know. I say maybe it was, but I think it works either way. But because we do see him kind of go in and out. Was it meant to be seen? I don't know. I would think that it was hoped for, but maybe, I'm not sure if the lighting or, I'd have to watch I'll have to listen to the commentary actually, which I really should do soon actually. I don't know if I've listened to the commentaries on all those, but Cundy is a really, really good cinematographer. He's a great eye with the camera. I like him, and when it comes to like horror, like aside from like directors that can really take the lead, Cundy, like in North America definitely, and Daniel Pearl, who did like the original like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and would come back to do the remake. I think he's a great eye for just the way that he does things, like shoots the most horrific things so beautifully, and which I'm wondering if he's like a big Argento fan that way. But no, I don't think that I've been fair over the years in some cases to the Rob Zombie Halloweens. Basically because I'm very old school, and I'm set in my way of what I think like Halloween should be. I think that for me, they broke the cardinal sin of like not just explaining, but over explaining. I know, I'm not gonna lie, I think Halloween 2 is really, really atrocious. I'm forgetting Jack and Jill. I just think of the things he did in horror. I know that's horror in a different way, but we'll go with we'll go with horror as in this early good stuff. It's good stuff. Everybody's gotta put food on the table, even if you had to work in Adam Sandler's like films. Is really, 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 really bad films. But yeah. So for the Halloween films, I do have I get more of a growing respect for a lot of the stuff that he did in Jurassic Park. Yeah, in the first Halloween, in Rob Zombie's first Halloween. But the more that I watch the sequel, that some people end liking more, the more that I dislike that one. It's just not for me. But then again, I do admit that the caveat that it wasn't probably made for me. It wasn't filmed for this Halloween fan. It was filmed for another generation or a different type of fan that wanted things done in a different way. And that being said, that's another reason. If you are a fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween, for instance, then one of the things missing from the 10 disc edition is this one here, work print. I haven't seen I don't know if I've seen the work print. I do know that, was that the first one that got leaked like before the movie came out? If it is, I have seen it. The theatrical edition, like print, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Actually, the theatrical versions were still my favorites that I liked out of all of them. I did see. I'm not going to lie to you. I saw the work print when it came out the same way that everybody else saw the work print. Do I think that the new Halloween film has a chance of being better than Halloween 2 or 3? Well, first thing I got to do when I talk about that is I got to take off my nostalgia of watching Halloween 2 and 3. And I'll be honest with you, when Halloween 2 came out, Halloween 2 and 3 are very revered right now, but they weren't when they originally came out. I know of people that pretended to be sick to get their money back around halfway through Halloween 2. Hey James, how's it going? I'm talking about the Halloween box set. Oh, before I go any further though, before I answer any more questions, I'll finish off the disc thing. So if you're a fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween, one of the things that's missing is there is actually, whether you like this movie or not, no matter what your thoughts on this film is, there's a really, really good, extensive kind of like making of behind the scenes, a documentary that he did and generously put on here. And this is only available if you buy it separately or if you buy the 15 disc set. This is not available in the 10 disc set. So that's another thing. Now, that being said, even if you buy the big 15 disc set, you kind of still have to go out and grab the two theatrical cuts of Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, because those are, in my opinion, the definitely superior versions of the film in the way that I think that they should go. Now, do I think that the new Halloween film has the ability to surpass Halloween 2 and 3? It's different in the way that I love the mask for the new Halloween film. I'm just going to break down some things. I've been trying to stay as far as I can away. I've been watched like a couple trailers, but now I'm just trying to draw myself away from it, stay as far away from spoilers and trailers and all that stuff as I possibly can until I can just experience the film. One of the really neat things. No, the theatrical version cuts aren't in the 15 disc set. That's the thing. They're out. You can buy them two ways. You can buy them like on a Blu-ray or a DVD as a double feature. It's bare bones. If you're near a Walmart, most of your local Walmarts now will have a Halloween bin, and ironically enough, in that Halloween bin is Rob Zombie's Halloween and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and it's a double feature, and that's the theatrical cuts. Yeah, they got counts that, and it's a shame. Nothing beats Halloween 3 in your opinion. But back in the day, James, like as being like, I guess, a older Halloween fan, I loved Halloween 3 petrified me. Even before I saw it, the trailers for Halloween 3 scared the hell out of me. You just see the kids with the long shadows, and like when I got to see the poster, I was scared of Halloween 3 before it even came out. And unlike a lot of people, I really enjoyed Halloween 3 back then as well. It wasn't one that I was ever among like, oh, I don't like this movie. I was a big fan of Nigel Neal. I liked this style of work. I'd seen the Quatermass films, and I got where he was going with it. And I do think that they should have let him go darker like he wanted to do. They thought he went too dark with Halloween 3 and they reined him back. And that's why Nigel Neal wanted to take his name off the credits and everything. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I think it's a shame because I think it's even drawn back, I think it's a really good piece of work that he did put a lot of input into. But for this one here, don't know if I can consider Halloween 3 against the new Halloween that's coming out, because Halloween 3 will always be its own beast. If the new film humanizes Myers, do you think new filmmakers really understands what makes Halloween so great? I don't think that's what they're going for. I think that the very fact that one of the very first things that they did was decide she's not his sister makes me think that they understand a lot better than a lot of the people, and I'm just talking Rob Zombie, but people that did some of the later sequels didn't get, is that we have like this scary boogeyman, force of nature type of character that is going to kill. Not because it's your sister, not because you pissed them off, just because there's no real reason behind it. And I kind of think that's what they're going for with this one. I think that they're going to go back to the original by wiping the slate clean of of the sister thing. I will be disappointed if they do a little switcheroo and actually it turns out to be like a sister relative all along or anything like that. I really don't think that they're going to do that, though. I don't think Carpenter would have signed on to do anything with this film if that was the case. I think that it's not going to humanize Myers at all. I think if anything, we're going to get more into Laurie's story, much like we do with H2O, but in my opinion, in a better way, less of a 90s Scream type of way for this one here. I have liked everything that I've seen with the character of Laurie. I do like the fact that she has the long hair again, and that she looks like she kind of kicks ass. It's a new one, but having it spin off from the first film means that you can take the story anywhere they want, and the trailers make it look like a Hollywood real sequels. I think that's kind of intended, though. Oh, you do see a lot of guns and stuff there, because Laurie is a she's become this has scarred her. She's become a survivalist. This is the thing. She wants, her friends were taken from her. And it wasn't like, oh, and then Ben Tramer got hit by a car and blah, 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 and then there's a hospital. None of that happened in this version, this timeline, this alternate timeline, however you want to take this. That didn't happen. Her two best friends, an important night of her life, they were taken. Her life was scarred. It was changed forever. So we get to see the impact that this has had, not just on her, I'll go there in 2 seconds, but it has had on all the people that surround her and her family and any type of relationships that she might have had and kids and the next generation and the next generation. Saying that Laurie is the Loomis of the new this Halloween. Donald Pleasance, rest in peace, is one of my great idols when it comes to acting, and I love the way that he played the character Loomis. Or she gets a lot of. See, I don't think she will. I think this is going to be like a real, much in the way like when you get that Friday the 13th Part 7, and you finally see somebody like seriously like kicking Jason's ass. I think we're going to see Michael Myers plow through a ton of people. This is probably going to be the most brutal Myers you've seen since the Rob Zombie Halloweens. One of the pluses that I can say is I did like the physicality when in those films of what they did with Myers' character when they focused on him a bit. And I do see that there. I do see that they have taken certain things, and the mask, we have to like acknowledge that the mask looks amazing, and there's a similarity to what we saw with the Rob Zombie aspect of the film. So, you know, definitely those are things that are taken from that. And to go out to kind of like put on Obnoxious Anonymous's point, what was it? He's in most of the trailer. I think he'll still be in the shadows. I will see him, but he's not really. I mean, you get to see portions of him in the trailer, you get to see him in there, but I don't think you get to see as much of him as you think you've seen. And I'll kind of explain that in a second. I'll get back to that. But Obnoxious Anonymous mentioned that it was kind of like a snippet of all the Halloween films that came before it. And I think, in a way, what they want to do is say, okay, this is its own timeline, but they wanted to give winks and nods to the other films that had come before it, the ones that they're, you know, quote unquote, you know, like ignoring. And a way to do that was to put some like winks and nods throughout the film for other Halloween films. And it was a way within the trailer, and I think, to let fans know that yes, this is taking off after part one. Yes, those other films aren't necessarily in this timeline, but here's a little wink at the fans to say, yes, we know these movies existed. We're not saying in this reality they don't exist, but we're not saying as fans and as filmmakers that it doesn't exist. Here are little nods here and there to show you that yes, we're a fan of the other films too. It's just we're doing it this way. And that's kind of what I think we're getting when there's certain things that we see. Hey, my scaredy. With aspects of how they're doing the film. I think that's why we're getting the nods. Some people like thought, oh, that's too many nods. How come the nods are there if they're not really going to like acknowledge the fact that those films existed? And they can't. It's the timeline, the setup for the film just really doesn't work for it. When they said they're going to kind of reboot or redo the Halloween franchise again, I kind of thought that they'd maybe start after number 2. And by after number 2 or number 1 or 2, basically what I thought they'd do is basically just keep going. Like if they had to bring Laurie back, you know, they'd have to recast because I thought they're not going to make one like afterwards because Michael Myers is going to be in his 60s. But then again, I was thinking of Michael Myers like Michael Myers is just is just a regular person that's going to have like the same aches and pains and stuff of like me when I'm now or when I'm like 50 or 60 years old when I get up there. But he's not. He never really was, not since he took up the knife to kill his sister in the first place. Not from anything in the first film. He's as Loomis would say, he's pure and simply evil. Evil. He is evil. So the fact that Michael Myers is quote unquote in his 60s now, and there's jokes like if you've watched the Decker Shadows like reviews that have come out, I don't think he's a real big fan of the Halloween franchise, but I big cred for him for actually like being honest and giving his honest opinions. I really appreciate that, and I like to see like differing opinions when it comes to especially for something that's like so well liked among like a fan base, to go out there and like give your own say, oh, I'm not really big on this one here. You got to give credit for that. So Michael Myers is going after number 1. It's acknowledging that the other films exist. It's acknowledging that they're fans of the other films. That's the way that I see it. Michael Myers is older, but he's Michael Myers. He's not older as in your neighbor next door that's like, you damn kids, get off the lawn. He's more along the lines of like timeless. And I think that if they continue on with this series, I know that they're going to be doing like, from what I heard, there's a sequel in to this one in the works, and it was actually planned right from the get-go, from the beginning. But they wanted to kind of get like a feel of what the audience was thought of the film, of this film here, before they went forward and did the sequel. So we get that aspect of it as well. And I think they can go anywhere with this. Jamie Lee Curtis obviously her ride is going to be like either up in this one or maybe the next one. She's going to have, I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be in this like Donald Pleasance was in for the next like 4 or 5 films that Blumhouse hopefully kind of puts out. I hope that they do, there's a few things that I want them to do with the model of the Halloween films, and I do want them to keep the Blumhouse model of keeping the films fairly inexpensive. I find that when that happens and when it's on like a kind of a genre thing, much in the way that I'm going to speak with something else in a second here, that it enables them to do a bit more and be a bit more creative, and don't really, have to get stuck up on like having umpteen like name actors or special effects type of thing, like CGI or anything. You wouldn't need CGI. But let's remember the CGI mask, and let's forget that. Like they recently showed the Joker, like scenes from the Joker film. And one of the really cool things about the Joker film that's coming out, the Martin Scorsese produced one with Joaquin Phoenix, is basically that it's not a high budget film. It's not an indie budget. It's it's a medium, kind of lower budget film, to the point that unlike the other like DC films that came out, I think that's on their list, James. I really do. And if they have the ability to get it, if Victor Miller doesn't screw this up, I really do think that the next people that's going to do Friday the 13th is going to be Blumhouse. And Blumhouse, much like New Line Cinema was for the Friday the 13th films and like some more independent horror, I think Blumhouse is the new kind of like the horror thing there. And people like rag on Blumhouse for some of the other stuff that they do, but I think that they actually really, like Jason Blum and the guys that work behind Blumhouse, really do have their hearts in the right place when it comes to horror. Yes, they definitely want to make money, but their model works, and it's a model that I really like. I like the fact of what they do. Not everything's it's a home run, obviously, but the model that they have for the films set them up so that if the movies fail, they're going to fail on their own merit, and they're going to succeed on their own merit. They're not going to fail to succeed based on studio interference, like the every DC EU movie did, and they're not going to fail because they were just had too much of an overbloated budget to really recoup or make back any money. We're in this kind of like nice little space where it's not going to take like too much for them to make back their money. They can spend a bit more creatively on the marketing of the films as well. And I do think that after with Friday the 13th, with Halloween, that Friday the 13th is the next logical step for Blumhouse Productions to go with. Now, there are other things that they could do. People have mentioned Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street is a different beast, and it's a harder one to do. And the reason I say that is because Friday the 13th and Michael Myers, they're the characters, those iconic characters, they're behind masks. They were played by different people throughout, even though Kane Hodder was probably known best for playing Jason, but like people always have their favorites. A lot of people are really big Richard Brooker fans. Some think that Ted White is one of the greatest, and a lot of people like C.J. Graham as well from Part 6. But that's the thing. You could interchange them. Same with Myers. People love Nick Castle, love to see him back. A lot of people really do love the way George Wilbur worked in the film, and like Don Shank's addition to the Halloween franchise as well. Chris Durand may not have been in the best Halloween film, but he did a good job in his portrayal of Michael Myers. You could kind of switch him in and out. Now, Freddy's a different beast. It's a character that is very much associated with Robert Englund. One of the big news things right now, and Robert Englund's in his 70s right now, guys, is that Robert Englund is donning the Freddy makeup one more time for the series of Goldbergs for their Halloween special. He's going to be Freddy on it. So that's been big news in the horror fandom. And that's the thing. If anybody else, like if Jackie Earle Haley had come back and put on the Freddy makeup from the reboot, the remake of it, whatever you want to call it, reimagining, it would have been like decent. Oh, look, Freddy's going to be in the Goldbergs. But I think we can all say without, without any like shadow of a doubt that it is much, much bigger news that Robert Englund is putting on the Freddy makeup and going back to play Freddy in the Goldbergs. And this is kind of one of the things that makes it hard to redo or to remake the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Derek Mears playing Jason again. Didn't Derek Mears just sign on to for Swamp Thing, for the TV series Swamp Thing? Like kind of to take to play Swamp Thing, like to basically to do the Dick Durock part. That was that Derek Mears? Or was that the guy? That was Derek Mears, right? Yeah, it was Derek Mears. Derek Mears is the new Swamp Thing. So yeah, look that up. If anybody is there, I can do it. But so yeah, thanks, James. So I think Derek Mears is one of those guys that, much like Kane Hodder, loved doing the movie. Some people did it, and for a lot of them, it was a film. For Derek Mears, it was a labor of love. This is a guy who'd gone on. He did The Hills Have Eyes. I think it was in part 2. I'm not sure if he's in part 1 of The Hills Have Eyes in the reboots or not, but I know he's in part 2 for sure. And I really do like Derek and the things that Derek does, the things that Derek puts together. He's a fan first, and and he's a guy that you want to see succeed. Derek Mears is one of the guys that I do want to meet, and it seems like a really, really awesome guy. But putting on the Jason makeup again, I would love to see him do it. I really would, but I don't know if he'd go back. What do you want? I think he would go back, but it would depend. Like now, he's done a lot of stuff since then, and he's definitely a fan. If they asked him to play Jason, and he could possibly do it, he definitely would. But he's Swamp Thing, and depending on like the shooting schedule for like a TV series like that, how popular it becomes, how popular the character becomes, I would love to see more of the DC kind of the dark universe, so to say, like Constantine, the series, unfortunately didn't last, but I really did enjoy that show. I like the kind of more supernatural aspects of it. There's a lot of DC characters that I'd like to see. I love to see like an anthology series like House of Mystery come out, or even House of Secrets. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. But yeah, Derek Mears, if he could come back, he made an amazing Jason. He had the physicality down just right. His movements were fantastic, and he was a beast. He ran for it. When people are like, "Oh, Jason doesn't run," and then you go back and you watch the original films and you're like, "Oh, look, Jason runs." The people were wrong. Yeah, he is. He's a decent actor. That's the thing. He's playing Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing takes acting chops. It does take acting chops to do that role. Mears is a good actor, and obviously with Jason, it's more of a physical role, but it's a mindset as well. It's something that you kind of got to get into. And what impressed me is like at the beginning, that opening part of Friday 13th, what I consider the best Friday 13th of the modern era, that opening sequence before the credits, the big one. I'm not sure if it was before the credits, but the kids that die at the beginning. There's a sequence there with Hatchet 3, that's the one. See, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like Hatchet 3 very much, but I did like Mears. I love Victor Crowley, though. That was fantastic. I loved Hatchet 1. I loved Hatchet 2. Hatchet 3 was kind of meh. But to be fair, it could be when I saw it. I haven't seen it since I originally watched it. But yeah, when he runs towards, was it Daniel Panabaker? It is the weakest one. But he came back and did an even better job, and I'm glad that they're going to make more Hatchet films. He has said that, so that's always a good thing. And it wasn't done by the original director, and that kind of shows. When he runs, when you see him going towards her and he runs, and it looks like he's gonna slaughter her. It was like, this is Jason. It's his scene. I'm a Doctor Who fan, and to put it to you like in kind of the best terms that I can think about. When David Tennant, who was like the kind of the best known Doctor Who of like of the modern era, decided to kind of hang it up, and they had this really young guy, Matt Smith. So I wasn't sure, and throughout the episode, I kind of wasn't sure how I felt about the actor. He seemed kind of cool. He's kind of quirky. I kind of liked him, but I didn't know for sure. And then I got to the end of the episode, and he has to face off against this alien creature, which is this huge eye coming out of like kind of this spaceship type of thing. And he's putting on his outfit and he's doing up his bow tie, because bow ties are cool. And he looks at it, and the things that this alien scans. And he goes up to the alien and he basically says, so do you know, like, so you're scanning, so you can see me. He said, so you know who I am. And he said, has this plant done anything to offend you? He said, and you know what I do to people that try to do anything to this planet. And then he just looks at it and he says, run. And in that moment, I knew I was really going to love that doctor. And in that moment, as Derek Mears starts to run towards, I knew I was really going to love his Jason. And throughout the rest of the film, he never, ever let me down once. So yes, I'm definitely, in a long roundabout way to answer that question, James, I would definitely be on board with Derek Mears playing Jason in parts 2, 3, 4, however many he wanted to play the character in. And I think somewhere along the way, I think they should put in a little role for Hodder, an acknowledgement to say, look, you were the guy that like helped keep the franchise going. You kept it afloat. You were a great Jason, and let's acknowledge you for it. Something that, let's be honest, whether you like or don't like Freddy versus Jason, I'm definitely on the fence. It's not a favorite of mine. The movie itself wouldn't have even happened without Kane Hodder. So I think somewhere along the way, if they start to do more Friday the 13th films, I think they should write a little cameo in there for Kane to say, we appreciate everything that you did for us. So Derek Mears, the only part of the remake you liked? See, I'd like the remake pretty much. Now, a friend of mine that is an even bigger Friday the 13th fan than me, and he has made some amazing outfits. He's like he's an artist, and he does like effects and like makeup for like a lot of like local theater productions as well. And he's done his own Jasons. He has a couple of them that he did. And I think that he described the best of that he kind of liked the films, but he didn't love them. And the reason that he put like it not being Friday the 13th for him is that in the movies, Jason stabs and Jason slits, but in Friday the 13th, Jason's character he tends to go that one step a little bit farther. He doesn't just put his hand in your, like just through your chest, like into your chest and pull your heart out. He puts his hand right through. He doesn't just do that. He twists, he's brutal, he's violent. The kills go just that one step farther than being just what a slasher film is, just an average kill. One of the neat things about the Friday the 13th films, if you're like a Fangoria reader like I was back in the day, and I know you are, James, is that the kills were big things. They were productions. And often the kills were taken out. And we all have those, like, the dream of seeing like the uncut versions of Friday the 13th, or the kills that were taken out. The kills were big deals. They were productions. They were things that were meant to be like really looked at. And that's the one thing that I would say is missing from the new Friday the 13th film, from the reboot, in my opinion, and in my friend's opinion there as well. And he's the one that actually really kind of like had the light bulb go off my head, is that he kills, but he kills in a slasher way. He doesn't kill in a more over-the-top Jason way, if that makes any sense to you. Hopefully it does. You can slit a throat and you can Tom Savini slit a throat. They're two completely different things. Hey, horror fan man, you're catching me just as I'm going off here. What I talked about tonight, and I hope I put it across well, was that I talked about this here. I talked about Blumhouse and the new Halloween film, and my thoughts on it. The Beast that is this box set right here, and the differences between it and the Tenda set. The one thing I can tell you is that if you are if there's anything towards the 10 disc set, I would say Big Deck. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it, James. Oh, Brian, welcome. Yeah, actually, I just wanted to do one. Hopefully, I get to catch you later. I had a lot of people asking questions, and every like horror site that I went on was asking, you know, I saw the 10 disc edition of Halloween out there. I'm thinking of picking it up. What's the difference between it and the 15 disc set? And I've seen that asked like over and over again. And I think there's been some like videos done on that, but I haven't done a video on it. And I wanted to like just really get in and like let people know that there's more than just a few features. There's more than artwork that's missing. So in a way, I did a kind of just the discs where I kind of talked about just the discs. But yeah, the one. Oh, thanks, and hopefully I got it right. If I was going to say anything for the 10 disc one that's good, is like it's that it's thin. It takes up like very little shelf space, and I like the artwork on the two slim cases for the two. Here's the thing: I'm such a huge Halloween fan, and although I don't have it yet, down the road I will definitely, if I can find it for a good price, I'll buy the 10 disc set. Just have the different artwork on it, because I'm a sucker for Halloween that way. It's kind of one of my favorites. Halloween and Friday the 13th. You know, the big three. I grew up in the you know, I'm from the slasher generation. I am the original, like I'm you know, the VHS era when, you know, when horror came home. So much like this is the night that he came home, I am from the generation of that brought horror home. Out of your drive-ins, out of your theaters, out of the 8 reels, and brought horror smack dab in the middle of your living room. And that's why I do what I do right now. A 3D conversion of Friday the 13th Part 3. They would have to, Paramount, it would have to get to with the right people to do it. And I'm not sure how easy it's going to be. Now, they did do the Anograph version of it, and we all know that's pretty meh. Let's you know, let's be honest. It's pretty kind of meh. It's not the best. I did actually get to see Friday the 13th 3 in 3D back in the day in theater. That was probably one of my most memorable first and like kind of most memorable 3D experiences. It was around the time that like they were doing like, it was kind of a 3D revival going around. There's Amityville 3D, and there was Jaws 3D, and each one of those, actually, I'll be honest with you, all three of those like looked really good in the theater. But Friday the 13th, you know, in my opinion, and I taking off like the nostalgia glasses and like actually thinking like logically, looked the best. Yeah, see, it was amazing in the theater in 3D. But could they replicate it? Maybe. I know that certain films were put out on like on 3D with like, and there was like those conversion boxes, and I never got into, like, never ever got those. But it was, you know, if you've seen it and it's like, and it's done, and they have the right equipment, and you've got a good screen, Friday the 13th 3D like is, well, like for old school 3D, it's probably one of the best 3D experiences you're going to ever have in a theater. And I also would love to see that come home as well. So we still have like, we got a box set that I don't think is the definitive edition. We've got an inexpensive one, which is still, of course, is not the definitive edition. I think unlike Halloween, which now it's officially has a definitive edition, Friday 13th doesn't yet. Friday 13th doesn't have a definitive box set as of yet. There's been slight like increases in like, oh, this is a bit better, this is a bit better, but it's never gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, yeah, this. When you look at the Friday 13th box set, none of them, not the one with the patch, not the one that they recently put out, nothing says it's the definitive set. Back on DVD, when Nightmare on Elm Street came out with that big set, that was at its time, that was not just the definitive Nightmare on Elm Street set. It was considered one of the most definitive sets to own, and one of the big things for like people to have. And it's crazy that Friday, you're right, it's crazy that Friday 13 doesn't have a definitive set. And basically that comes down to the fact that, and you know, Halloween had many more like distributors than Friday the 13th did. So it's not that. It's basically that Paramount didn't put didn't have a lot of love for Friday the 13th ever. It was like the redheaded stepchild. And it's remained that way. No matter how much more acclaimed it's become over the years. Now, I tried recently to read some earlier Rue Morgue magazines. I was like in the mood, like in the horror mood. I had like a bunch of Rue Morgue and a bunch of like Fangoria stuff. I was reading them, and then I remembered why I didn't originally read Rue Morgue, which became like a magazine that I really like to read, because the original editor of Rue Morgue pissed me off. I'm a huge fan of like of the slasher genre, and I'm a really big fan of Friday the 13th. It meant a lot to my life growing up as a kid. I went to a lot of different places, and Friday the 13th was always there. And in the early edition of Rue Morgue magazine, he takes an editorial to pretty much to make fun of the franchise, and to look down upon it. And then an article is placed it within that issue of the magazine. I think it was probably around the time Jason X came out, where literally it's just like a drubbing down of the whole franchise. And it made me, it really bothered me that okay, you're the premier Canadian horror magazine, and this is how you treat something that's so beloved by so many fans. So when Jovanka took over, I was really happy. Yeah, exactly. It was the douchiest thing to do, and I really and I don't know if he ever came around on it, but for a long time it really I knew that I respected the stuff that Jovanka had done, and for the magazine. So when I'd heard that she was taking over for and I'm not sure if did you ever interview her, 13th Wolfman? Because I think she'd be a good interview. And she has moved into like making horror films now. You know, she directs and writes horror as well. So she does like shorts, and she was in like, she did part of the anthology thing. And she looks like she'd be pretty kick-ass. And of course she, for me, saved Rue Morgue magazine from being that okay magazine to being Kubrick lover. Jovanka was the editor of Rue Morgue magazine for what I consider it to be its premier time. It's what I consider the golden age of Rue Morgue. I'm not good with names, so I hope I got the name right. Jovanka, and it's I really can't pronounce the last name. Just put in Jovanka and Rue Morgue, and if you do get to like in contact with your interviewer, let her know that I'm a fan, and I do appreciate what she's done like since leaving Rue Morgue, and what she did to, in my humble opinion. Well, my opinion is never humble, but what she did to actually save it as well. But there you go. We have Friday the 13th still to this day doesn't have a definitive box set. Halloween, however, does, and this is it. Now, if you can't get this, then you can always go out and grab the 10-disc edition. But at least now, if you watch this from the beginning and you go out to grab the 10-disc edition, you're not wondering, that's the name, that's her. You're not wondering what's not in it, what don't I have, what's missing. Hopefully this video here has explained it just a little bit for you, so you know the difference between the 10-disc and the 15th edition. Thrash Fingers. And guys, at 58 minutes, I got to get up early tomorrow, because not only do I have to go to work, but my better half, the light of my life, her birthday is today. So and I'm working through it. We're actually going to celebrate on Thursday. This is the day I'm off for her birthday, and she's going away for the weekend. So it should be interesting. She already got her birthday presents. So if you want to, guys, you can wish a happy birthday in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for joining me here tonight in the movie library. You guys are the movie club. You guys are amazing, and you guys make everything that I do worth doing. Honestly, there's not a lot of horror fans where I'm at. Definitely. So you guys are my horror buddies away from there. So thanks a lot for everybody that said happy birthday to her there. As always, check out The Dorkening with 13th Wolfman and his crew. Make sure you check out Brian Saar and with Just to This podcast, often done with Stephanie Crawford, who is very amazing. And unfortunately, she was not here tonight. So Brian, tell Stephanie tisk tisk. And but at the same time, I hope she had a great evening. I know that she was going to watch something. I was looking on Twitter. I can't remember what it is right now. But thanks you guys for watching. I've had a great evening, and let's get that Friday the 13th definitive box set out there. Let's see what we can do about that. All you guys out there that know people, let them know that's something we need. It's something we want. And have a great evening. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm rambling. So I'm out of here. It's time for tea.